This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was feeling stuck trying to squeeze in getting tax help, but never having enough time. Now, Taxes is getting a TurboTax expert who does your taxes from start to finish. While they work on your taxes, you get real-time updates on their progress. And you get the most money back guaranteed. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Apple Card is everything a credit card should be. It's easy to manage, built to be secure, and gives users up to 3% daily cash back on every purchase. The best part about Apple Card is applying is quick and easy. Apply in the Wallet app on iPhone and see your credit limit offer in minutes. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Member FDIC. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Whether, this is this hopefully is a podcast where it feels like I don't know what a soft shoe is when someone says I'm doing the soft shoe or the soft chew, either one. Keep your shoes and your chews quiet at bedtime. I'll do my best, but this episode, oddly enough, is about, louder shoes like tap shoes, clogs, or clomps in this case. Wooden shoes on a wooden floor is not, some people might, but there is a percentage of people say, I find that incredibly sleepy. But this is not the place for that. This is a place where I'll just keep talking and not making very much sense. So if that's how it's feeling to you, you might be in the right place. This is a podcast to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff. It's called Sleep With Me. I don't know if I said that already. I normally forget a lot of those kind of details. This podcast does not work for everybody, but it works for almost no one on the first try. That's just what regular listeners have said, because it is a bit strange. It's a podcast that never goes anywhere, but it's always running. But I'm here to help and to keep you company. So if you've ever struggled to stay asleep or fall asleep, you felt like a little bit lonely in the deep, dark night, that's what this show's here for, to keep you company, but you don't need to listen to it so you could fall asleep. And the fact is that you deserve a good night's sleep. I'm so glad you're here. Structurally, we're going to do some support for the show. Then there'll be a long, meandering intro with a little bit of info to ease you into bedtime. And then we'll have a holiday bedtime story. Caroling with the Clomps, I think is what it's called. So I'm glad you're here. Give the show a few tries. I hope I can keep you company and take your mind off stuff and ease you into bedtime. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And here's a couple ways we're able to do it for you for free twice a week. All right, buddy. So this is a very special episode for the holiday season called Caroling with the Clomps. And the Clomps are, you may have heard in the intro, maybe you're just tuning in now, maybe you're just listening for a break, or you got that holiday fever, but you're looking, I've done deep dives before. They said, well, let me find some alternative holiday music to listen to, or like a new take on holiday music, or a deep dive. Oh boy, but you then if you're here, you've dove so deep. And if you have a fandom for the Clomps, even though I explained it in the intro, I'll kind of set it up again, and then we'll go to the story episode here. The Clomps are a famous clomping group, which you may have never heard of before. Clomping is a form of dance. Though if you were viewing it, you'd say at first, if you were a passerby, particularly in this situation, because they're caroling through clomping, but they're not clomping out the songs. They're clomping to the songs that they're caroling, I guess technically within their minds. So I guess if you were a casual observer, like at least if they knocked on your door, I don't know if they'd take this much time to explain it, because you'd say, I'm trying to get back to my holiday cheer here. Could you just I thought this was a one-song deal. But what happened was, I mean, I'll explain what the clomps and clomping are, is like a lot of us, you say, when was the last time, and I'll answer the question for everybody, when was the last time I encountered door-to-door carolers? Because it's something that's kind of passed into, I mean, I guess maybe some people live places where there's caroling, door-to-door caroling going on. And I haven't seen it. And I mean, I live not that far from Christmas Tree Lane. Now, the cool thing is Christmas Tree Lane is, not to go off topic again, but I have seen the high school bands there, though I always forget to check what night that's going to be. At one point, and I think it was on Christmas Eve I went there, there was people playing bluegrass music at a house, bluegrass holiday tunes. And I'm sure there's some sort of caroling going on. A whole lot. Oh boy, that's not a whole lot of caroling going on. That could be a song I could write, maybe. But that's not the case right now. You see, well, there's not a whole lot of caroling going on. We don't just need a little more holiday. We need a little more caroling. And that's what the Clomps said to themselves. They were originally just clomping around. I mean, they weren't clomp. They originally clomped. Clomp is a form of dance, may or may not be imaginary and only exist within my mind. And the Clomps are a family, an extended, like not, they're not all related, but they call themselves the Clomps. And all you have to do is have a love, you don't even have to fully believe I clomp, therefore I am. You might say, I'm interested in clomping. Also, if you ever want clomp-based questions answered, listen to the clomp notes. It's things interesting to clomps, clompers, and people interested in clomping. It's a podcast. Also, unfortunately, you can't only listen to it on a imaginary podcast player within me, which it doesn't. So this is really your only taste of it. But so the Clomps said to themselves one day when they were just probably before or after a formal clomp. I don't know. I'm an outsider. So I can only tell you, I don't know if they call it rehearsal or practice. I mean, I can say, let's do another run through of that. That's probably been said at a clomp sessions. There's clomp offs. Much like knocking, that's in it. I say, wow, there's some overlay. No wonder I'm so interested in this clomping. And holy cow, I didn't even realize, now that I'm doing this, I should ask them because they have to knock on every door. That's one of my niche pastimes is listening to recorded knocks of people knocking on doors. But this isn't about me; it's about the Clomps. And one day if you're already a clomper, you're thinking outside the box. Oh, what's clomp? Oh no, let me explain how they became to caroling, and then I'll explain what clomping is. But so they were sitting around, I don't know if they were chilling, but let's just imagine they were. And they said, what about caroling? Nobody carols anymore. Oh, I was going to say, when was the last time you saw someone caroling? Oh, you're getting some good pointless meanders out of this. My memory of the last time I remember caroling, it was somewhere between, I have no idea. It was definitely it could have been in the 80s or the 90s. That's how long ago. And it was at my grandma's house. And I remember going to her door. She didn't even have a front door. She had a side door, but which I guess technically was the front door. And I remember people came to her house on Christmas Eve and were caroling. Only one time I remember it happening. And I just remember coming to the door and being like, whoa, this is like a movie. There's people caroling out there. And I have no idea who it was or what they sang. That may have been my only wild encounter with door-to-door carolers that I'm aware of. Though a lot of times in my past life, I was, not clear of mind most for some of the 90s, all of the aughts, and most of the were part of the 10s or whatever on holiday evenings. So there's a chance I wouldn't, I had great experiences with carolers or not so great ones. But the Clomps were wondering the same thing. They said, nobody carols anymore. door to door. And they said, what if we do some caroling with the Clomps? We go Clomp caroling. And then, they said, they're, like a lot of other groups of positive people, they said, well, okay, tell me more. Like, what will we do? And they said, well, because we could clomp the music, but that would take, it might take some of the joy out of it because we wouldn't be, it would be such a formal dancing to make clomping sounds to songs. Though I will tell you, the finale is to do that with Deck the Halls. And that's why. I think maybe that's what happened. They said they tried it with Deck the Halls, and they said this took 50 sessions. We missed one holiday season, so we can't clomp out the songs. And also it's not caroling, it's clomping. And then they said, well, we could play the songs and dance to it, but then... then we got to bring them, then people might not like that. That's not very, and then someone said, what about the idea of attraction rather than promotion or whatever? And they said, what do you mean? They said, what if we just go door to door, clomp? We have the carols in our minds for the time being. We clomp, and then maybe somebody they say, well, boy, we should be caroling while you're clomping. And then we start a thing, like people are caroling, carolers, and we're clomping to the carols. That's where we'd like to be. But if, we can't go wrong. If we're trying to bring holiday joy door to door through dance, and they always do something about Michael Flatley. I don't know why, but they say, oh boy, for the love of Flatley. So, what's clomping, though? If you're with me thus far, you may know what clomping is. A form of dance. Now, the easiest association is with those wooden shoes, or wooden clogs. I guess those are this is not wooden clog dance, but you'd say, is there a form of dance where people dance in wooden clogs? There may be. I think there is, though, of course, I could be, basing it on my small, narrow window of my own knowledge and experience, which is mostly filled, most of the view is of my own ignorance, because I say, the window's not open. I'm just looking at my own reflection. So I don't know if there's a traditional wooden clog dance. I think there is. Clomping is... That's a easy way to describe it. It is, now they don't wear clogs, but you can buy, they clomp around. So it's different than tap dance, and it's different than clog dancing, if there is such a thing, or other dances, but it is similar because they're dancing, but part of the dancing produces constant clomping sounds. So it's in the genre of noisy dancing, as opposed to quiet dancing, like ballet, jazz maybe, any soft shoe-based dancing. This is hard. I guess, I don't know. Does dance fall into those categories? This is a hard shoe dance, and noisy dance versus quiet dance or softer dance. This is almost as loud as it gets. And it's particularly apt, now the Clomps don't live in a snowy environment, these Clomps, but, there's other Clompers out there. But it is particularly, now you wouldn't, like if they were in a snowy environment, they would have to carry their shoes, because I don't think that clomping shoes have good traction. A lot of them are water permeable. Though I'm sure, because you could probably varnish up a pair of clomping shoes, but only after you hang them up, to say, okay, I'm hanging my clomper. They call them clompers, because these clompers are made for clomping. That's what I do. I put on these clompers and I clomp in my clomping shoes. And yeah, they said, what are you doing? Just clomping around? No, I mean, I'm clomping, like not just clomping around. So that's all to say that it's not exclusively a wooden-based shoe, but technically clomping is a form of dance in a shoe, wooden shoe, or a shoe that sounds similar. So a shoe that has some hollowness. Now, some clompers, yeah, they're hollow. They're hollow shoes. They're like a wooden shoe that's also hollow. And some clompers are not. But it's dancing in a wooden or wooden-like shoe on a hard surface, ideally. Now, that's what I was going to say is like a lot of like asphalt or concrete is pretty good for clomping. Not ideal, like I talked about. You know, the clompers in my mind at bedtime, they love a hollow dance, like a raised hollow dance floor, or I don't know, like a stage. Like I guess you'd say, well, the stage is specially designed for clomping. It's a little bit stiffer. And yeah, it's hollow on the outside, but we reflect the noise into the audience through the band shell or whatever, the orchestra pit. You know, we've modified things. But you get enough people clomping, so this is got to be a good group because, an asphalt or a concrete is going to, part of my brain just said, who you calling an asphalt? And I said, I have no idea what you were talking about, but don't make an asphalt out of us, please. That's another thing in my brain. Please don't. But so all I have to say is like, this is a group of people that have a forlorn caroling situation, and they love dancing in wooden shoes. I'm using as a, you know what I mean, to just help you focus, but not exclusively clogs. Though I would imagine, now that I'm thinking about it, a clog would be a good one just because there's different moves you could make, right? I'm just trying to imagine what I'd be clomping in. And a clog would be good because you could kick out, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't have, you could kick your heel down and do a move with the clog that you might not, like my knowledge of wooden shoes is pretty limited, or hard-based loud shoes. What are those ninja boots called? Those were, when I was a kid, that was like one of the most, you like a single child or a child of, means, was somebody that had, they said like, well, I have ninja boots. They have a specific term, and they would usually have other ninja items, but, ninja boots they said, they'd always say they're the most comfortable thing. I wear them with my pajamas. Can't wear them outside. But aren't they exactly designed for being outside? And I guess the reality is that parents would be like, you're not leaving the house in your ninja boots. First of all, they cost, you don't even know how much ninja boots cost. Secondly, you can't go to church in ninja boots. And they said, Mom, they're not called ninja boots. And she said, yeah, but Scooter has a limited vocabulary. So in this example, I'll be calling them ninja boots. Also, I would call them ninja boots. You would call them by the correct term if you were in a imagination of a person that had a, wider range of vocabulary. But ninja boots would be the exact opposite, I guess. Well, I guess ballet shoes probably, but ballet shoes can make some sounds. Because I don't know. Are ninja boots? Anyone dance in ninja boots? I'm sure like a happy ninja did at some point. But whatever. I don't know what that has to do with anything. So let's go to let's go to the Clomps and listen in as they've further along as they've decided. Okay, everybody. So this is the first song we were thinking of, and I was thinking we could do Kylie Minogue's Santa Baby. Does anybody have an objection to doing Kylie Minogue's Santa Baby as opposed to other Santa Babies? Okay, great. So it's like, I was thinking for that one, we would do like in order for people to understand it until we have caroling, we'd have our Santa hats in our back pockets, right? And then I think it could be fun to kind of also make it obvious what we're singing or dancing about. also be confusing, but kind of going the opposite expectations. But also there's a subversion there, because if the song was playing out, like I don't even actually know all the lyrics to the song, so maybe I have the meaning of the song wrong. But what if you had Santa's Baby as a result of singing Santa Baby, like I don't know, just an idea. But I was thinking we'd put our Santa hats on, and then we could do some gentle rocking as we clomp side to side. And then, like, maybe even play it on like that, Rockabye Baby kind of thing, like, on a treetop. But I was just thinking like some sort of soothing thing under the tree. There's something like that. Oh, how did I get I don't know, like why I got placed in charge of the idea pitching. But, I have a next idea. And it's a Winter Wonderland. And that one is so easy, right? So, like, I see all your hands going up. That's great. We could, I think that, we walk hand in hand. I was thinking for the meadow, we could do tiptoe, like short steps, like that we're crossing a meadow on our tiptoes. And then when we like kind of do a wider squat when we're doing the snowman, also so we're like our lower bodies are looking like a snow person, but also like we're doing something, to describe our and then the rest of it, I think, would just play out easy. But that's my idea for that one. Next up would be Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And I think a lot of heel action. I was thinking that made me think of that. There's this sleep podcaster I listened to who took piano lessons, but he never practiced piano except to go into his lessons, and he would make his teacher cry a lot because he never practiced. And it was kind of like a strange dance, they were all involved in, and unfortunately, he didn't learn to assert himself or to practice. He just learned to numb himself to his teacher's tears. But he also, one of the few songs he learned to play was like over and over again, even after years of piano lessons, was Up on the Housetop, Click, Click, Click. And then maybe we do that one. And then we go so we do Santa Claus is Coming to Town into Up on the Housetop. I know it's not a popular song except in, but I don't know. I was just thinking of it because I said that's like one of the only songs you learn to play on chopsticks and that. And yeah. But so Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I was thinking like a lot of like outward leg movement and marching. We're coming into town. Maybe what if that one? And we could do the same for March of the Wooden Soldiers, Babes in Toyland. We could alternate houses. What if that's the first number we do? And so for houses with a narrow walkway, whoever's going to the door will say, okay, we're here to do some clomping, caroling via clomp. What is that? Well, we're going to dance in these wooden shoes for you to holiday songs. We don't have any carolers with us, but you'll be able to figure the songs out. It'd be fun, like a little game. That's a pretty good way to explain it. And then for the first one, and then hopefully there's kids there or people that have some joy in their hearts that we could ignite a little bit, or they'll just close the door and then we'll keep going. But that you could be waiting on the sidewalk and then march in. And I guess the difference between the wooden soldiers and Santa Claus is that as you're marching, maybe do some sort of rocket move with the hats. We're like they're flowing onto the heads as you're coming down the lane. but that would be Santa Claus is coming to town. I'm trying to think of any other things we need to know for that one. The next one I was thinking is have a holly jolly Christmas. That one pretty easy, in case you didn't hear. And with year, we could do calendar. One person could do the calendar. And by jolly, so do a lot of jolly, like I was thinking we all pretend. Maybe we could, here's an idea. I'm taking this to the next level in a method way so we would know what we're doing. Because I can see the blank looks on some of your faces. So this one, let's pretend let's pretend it's the 1980s, okay? And we are mall-based Santas. We're at our training, okay? So the person standing at the board saying, so in some sense, if it was a musical and we were rewriting the meaning of the song, like the meaning of this song would be, your job is to provide the residents of this mall a holly jolly Christmas. And so like the person standing at the board, like, you need a holly jolly Christmas this year. Like we need you trained for this year. They're standing at the board. So then when we're doing the line, we're practicing different things. So bowl full of jelly, laughing, saying, now they don't necessarily need to know this, right? We're just providing, but that's how we get into the modus of providing a holly jolly Christmas. So that's that idea for that one. Next up, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And okay, I think this method thing, this one, like, let's pretend that calendars and dates don't exist, but there's something called calendar scouts or holiday scouts. So for every holiday of the year, no one knows it's coming. Like this could be part of a broader story where a spell has been cast. People don't know the dates. They have an inability to retain that information about holidays only, because otherwise the world would be total chaos, maybe. Or people would ask too many questions. But so this spell has been cast, and maybe the rest of our dance could be that. Maybe we could connect the snow people somehow. That would be another act or part of Act 1. I don't know, but this would be the first thing, maybe, or the second thing. So beginning to look a lot like Christmas. So in this storyline, we as dancers are the holiday scouts for the holiday season. And I think in this sense, we do use our dance to go broader than Christmas. So everyone can choose a holiday, a December holiday or seasonal holiday, winter seasonal holiday. Yeah, let's make it winter seasonal holiday. And each of us is scouting for that. So like your job is to find, it's beginning to look a lot like blank, and your dance represents that. And this is an essential job for the planet Earth, where people a planet where people celebrate it, and large portions of the economy depend on this. So this isn't just a job you take lightly. And you may not be human. You may be some sort of demigod, like maybe in this world. Yeah, we're called the holiday scout sprites, and we let people know we're the only ones that have the ability, because it's very subtle. Because even the changing of the seasons could be subtle, If you don't have a calendar, you say, "What the heck? It's snowing." Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So, okay. Well, the snow melted. Got to go on to my next, thing. So in this one, you're really, it's an important job to look, you're the scout for your holiday. And again, we can, I know some of you want different ones, so we could work it out. But your dance represents each discovery that's leading you. And yeah, no, I like that idea. Yeah, you discover the boxes of decorations, and then that reminds you, okay, yeah. Or, okay, you discover that book of recipes. So, okay, I like that. Okay, yeah, you discover, something like that. That's secular. That's totally cool. Like, you say, okay, yeah, like, yeah, and, pictures, okay. And then you use those to then go out and say, it just isn't seasonal. In some sense, you'd think, because it could even be people that say, well, what about that, holiday creep? But what if our minds were not erased? Like, so you say, why, huh? They got holiday stuff on sale. Don't know what that means. Your job would say, you know what it means is the holidays are coming up now that they're selling holiday things. And people would be like, you're kidding me. I didn't even realize. Thank goodness there's someone out there letting us know this and knowing and keeping an eye out to say it's beginning to look a lot like. Okay, so what else? I think I think going with this, maybe the next song, and again we broaden it because we don't have the carolers, so we're just dancing. So we do have permit, we do have artistic license here through our clomping to have so then we go from it's beginning to look a lot like, and again, we're also kind of repurposing the meaning, have yourself a merry little, however you celebrate the holiday season. But that's more of like maybe do we need proxy? Is the family at the door the proxy, or do we also, okay, you're volunteering. You're saying, if we need proxies, you will be the proxies. Oh, some people have, what's that mean? Okay. So I'm saying if this was, if this wasn't happening at someone's front door, if they were going to a show, maybe we need a family to represent, for the audience to project themselves onto. And, or also to make it easier to explain what's happening is we're going from saying, hey, the reason those maybe you discovered those maybe the weather's changing. All these things are slowly adding up to a mystery, which is it's beginning to look a lot like. And now you're saying, have yourself a merry little. So then you're going from the anticipation to the preparation, or the awareness to the preparation. And then again, I guess that holly jolly one we could go into. Oh, so what would that look like? Well, this would be tough. I think this is a tough one because we would be presenting or prepping, but not giving any gifts or anything like that. It wouldn't be the actual holiday. It would be here. So maybe in checklist type dance where we're checking off things, like we'd have to make sure that we have some different, but then we could lead into that holly jolly one. But I don't know, because I don't want it to be a good question. How many hours are we going to be at each person's house? I don't know. Like now that we're getting the story down, I think could be endless. It could be hours. But yeah, okay. And then, so that's so we go from awareness to active preparation to active activeness. So the active activeness would be actually decorating, and the joy of moving into the next active phase of holiday preparations. So decoration would be symbolically representative, even though it doesn't represent everything people are doing. Oh, okay, so you'd want cooking. Should we see if we have any other songs to do that as a separate activity? Because, yeah, most ways of celebrating, or most things you would be celebrating, do have some sort of foods associated with it. and mealtime. And again, I guess if we did a cooking one, we could do a separate mealtime one. But this would be, so again, okay, I agree. I'm saying yes to all those ideas. This would be a working on the accoutrement. Okay, yeah, and that would be Jingle Bell Rock. And I think that'd be fun because we could do bells, like, and different rock, like, and I mean, nothing rocking, but, dancing while we're doing it. So showing that there is a certain process of joy in the participation. Yeah, so I think that's a good one. The next one would be, again, we would change it, but it would be like, I love Darlene Love. So, I mean, I know there's other versions of the song, but like, Baby Please Come Home, where that, and I think that would follow nicely after the accoutrement, would be like a wistful, like forlorn dance for those people we're waiting for that could join us or may not join us. I mean, I think that could be a fun one, right? And to jump back, I just had this idea, like another song. And again, some of these could be pulled, depending on when the family cuts contact, if they close their door or they decide they want the full show. Would be Let It Snow. I think do we do that towards the end or somewhere at this point where we're I guess we're changing characters, huh? I didn't even realize it. We went from being the seasonal scout sprites to now something different, which is fine. So this is more like a dance recital type, even though, it's not different dance squads recitaling. We're each song, we're kind of a different dance squad. But I was thinking Let It Snow is always a good one, So I don't know. We do Let It Snow earlier, or we could do it later. Then another one, I think it would be tough. It's the most wonderful time of year. I think that would reel in from, so I think in this story, right now, what's happening is the person has started the preparation. Then they've realized, this person might not make it. A bit like a coffee commercial, where you say, are you coming home and drinking coffee? Is another, so the person at the end of that song is feeling down. And then another set of dancers is offering them the reminder that it's the most wonderful time of year. And I think that, like, it's the best time of year too. Like maybe we do like we do both those songs. And so they are trying to the joy of the process of preparation and anticipation has been lost in the eye of like uncertainty. And but they're looking at the destination and this person is reminding, oh, no, this is like a 60-day marathon or whatever. And you're, for all of these, or we're celebrating every single holiday within this. But they're saying, no, this is a process. You forget that it's really a process that you enjoy and not the result. And so that's what it's wonderful. Like they're saying, so I guess it goes back. Maybe they're showing and maybe they're just walking you back through the present process, and going into the kitchen, I think. And I think going into the kitchen and then we go to, like simply having a wonderful Christmas time. And that goes into the food preparation one. Like because that's just obvious. I mean, great ideas that people have had, but that, and again, they offer so much for everybody's, the holiday that is in your heart that you're dancing for and expressing. And also it just say, okay. And that's a great song to dance to, I think. We could do a lot of spinning, a lot of trays, a lot of hand work, and again, a lot of movement because you're going from the oven or the stove to the table, to the cupboard, to the chopping board, to the mixing. And we do Holly. Oh, yeah, we did Holly Jolly. Okay. I don't know. Another song I like is Feliz Navidad, but I just thought of like how we the last two songs, we finish it. So we still need, I don't know. I just like Feliz Navidad. I think that's a fun song to dance to and to sing along. But I don't know. You're right if it fits within the story. But I was just thinking maybe we're missing, or maybe we're not. We have to do the two songs that because then now if we're depending on when we're caroling, but they won't hear the songs. We have to do the Mariah Carey and Wham. So, is there one eating song, or we just stretch out simply having a wonderful Christmas time, and we leave it open? You're right. But then we do have to have the emotional thing and then the surprise. So maybe we have one dancer that hasn't appeared at all. And we do a medley, Last Christmas, All I Want for Christmas Is You, to harken back. And we can do the picture frame, people dancing with the picture frame. I guess that could be part of the meal, the back half of the meal, or someone off, the table's celebrating, but there's one person off, looking at a picture frame, and then they're dancing for again, then we have a proxy, and, that'd be fun. People could practice their sitting, stage sitting or whatever you want to call it. And so by the end of that one, they're saying, okay, but yeah, this is still what I want. And even again, because it's not it doesn't have to be related to one specific holiday or necessarily getting what they want. I was thinking that it's the person training to be a Santa who has been gone, and now they're coming back. In some sense, they were maybe even working as Santa. And they're saying, I think the last return, and maybe then we do Feliz. Okay, you're right. Then we do Feliz Navidad last. Again, as that one, we could actually clump out the song. So we start with Deck the Halls and then end with Feliz Navidad. And again, what's in your heart? We can change it because we're just clomping. There's no lyrics. So again, we have artistic reinterpret it. We can be creative as we want. But okay, so during that medley, the person comes in. But again, I think in my heart, it would not be the person they were waiting for, but another reminder of the love in the process. And, that some things defy expectations, and sometimes, the full thing. But there could also be kids that were wishing for a present. Again, you can be dancing or at the table playing out your own thing, and then some of you could be playing it as the audience representatives. But this last person comes in, and then we go in, then the joy, that's the symbolic thing. That they say, oh, okay, whatever it is for you, but their arrival signals the start of Feliz Navidad and a joyous release. And we just skip over, what happens, the process is that, we don't worry about that. Then that's New Year's Eve or whatever. Let them worry about it. But we're leaving them on a high note, but we get them to a high note by having a little bit of a low notes. And then they're carrying it back into their home, ideally, after we do Feliz Navidad. And we clomp that out. And again, I guess for costumes, we need Santa hats. Then again, maybe I've always been resistant to these ugly sweaters. But if you're picking a sweater that's thematically like an ugly sweater that's thematically aligned with what's in your heart to celebrate, or again, what you prefer to celebrate, and what the meaning of the season is for you. Only one bah humbug, but only if there's a bah humbug, how can, you can't clump, you're going to pull it off. Okay. So you'll have a bah humbug one over. So you'll have 2 sweaters. You could get warm, but again, yeah, I guess we'll have to layer anyway, depending on the weather. But yeah, each person's sweater represents, yeah. So then your sweater's also, and that helps because again, it's like, some people may need it spelled out because they say, what are you doing? Just clomping around. Now, I don't know. I'm wondering how many people are going to have the patience. Like we can rehearse, but I think a lot of this, again, we're just going on the fly. And maybe we're even condensing it. Is there a way to condense all that into, I think we could do it pretty quickly, right? So then instead of being like at each house for 3 hours through this whole cycle, we're running through that lineup. Like, what do you think is, like, how much is, what is a non-clomp fan, their tolerance for clomping? If they know the first song and the second song, last song, and then there's just a lot of clomping in the middle until we, again, attract carolers, and then we can extend it. I mean, if we had carolers, it would make it a lot easier, but we don't have carolers at this time. We just have us and our willingness to try. But I think we have something here. It's like caroling with the Clomps is going to work. And again, it doesn't have to be one specific thing. And again, I think if we do have to explain it, they say, okay, do you have extra 45 minutes? We can explain what we just did. They say, well, our dinner's getting cold. They'd say, okay, well, maybe we could work that into that scene. That's great notes. Thank you. They said, no, our dinner's actually cold. Oh, you weren't. Okay, well, okay, those weren't notes. But I was saying, I forgot what I was saying is, if we just help them carry it into their homes, I don't know what else. I got mixed up, but I had another idea. But it's just about communicating this whole thing. And, yeah, because then maybe next year, I guess if we explain it, then they say next year you could pretend like you have no memory of dates and you're scouting for your holiday season. And then but again, the reminder that take some joy in the process, not just it's not just about anticipation or nostalgia. It's about participation, maybe less so than anticipation. Maybe I'll get that on my sweater, or maybe I'll just write it on the side of my shoes. But I'm excited. This is going to be great. We'll be clomping around, clomping and caroling all the way into people's hearts. Yeah, it looks like everybody's resting now. That's a good idea. We'll get some rest. We'll get some sleep. And then we'll get to work caroling and clomping away. Good night, everybody. I want to thank everybody that's on our Sleepy Supporter Zone list. These are all people that supported the sponsors in the last few months and filled the form of sleepingpodcast.com/sponsors. Phineas, Kimba, Rochelle, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Tamara, Kim, and Crosby, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Devin, Patty, and Jeff, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Grass, Clinton, Averill, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Jeff, Ray, and Gwendolyn, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Soups, Jane, and Breezy, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Tara, Camille, and Tamara, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Nina, Alex, and Amy, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Jason, Jacqueline, and Jacob, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Brenda, Carol, and Lauren, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Kat, Mac, and Ava, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Mel, Abigail, and Jackie, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Good night. And Rowan, Naomi, and Penelope, thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody who supports the sponsors, supports the show directly. I appreciate being able to offer the podcast for free and being able to, for being supported while I do it. I appreciate that, and all the other people that help make the podcast possible work. And thanks to those of you that just spread the word about the show or podcasting in general. Even not letting, you don't even have to, just telling people about podcasts is a huge help. So thank you so much for that. And thanks to these Tuck You In sponsors. I think we're, I don't know how many, what do we have, 1,000? I don't know. I think we got 400 something episodes in the archives or more. I don't know if it's 400 or 500 anymore. But it's cool. So I think 400 goes back to 600. So 4 something. So anyway, thanks everybody. Thanks and good night.